Welcome to Parallel Burns. This is a new feature on FOH. It may be a very rare podcast because it may not be ever done again. We're trying out today the Magnum 46 is up against the MOFOH Spada Gorda, which is slight difference between both cigars. They're both 46 gauge. The Spada Gorda is 150 millimeters. The Magnum 46 is 143 millimeters. There's bugger all difference between them. You won't notice it really if you love your Corona Gordas as much as I do. It's just a great vitola. It's a great size. This is a $25 cigar, which is the Magnum 46. The Spada Gorda, when it's not on special, is a $9 cigar, but you can get it pretty much under that. I don't expect the Spada Gorda to really beat the Magnum 46 at all, but I want to see how close we can get between both cigars. And we'll have a good discussion about various things in the world of cigars during the podcast itself. We're going to go very simply. We'll be a side-by-side tasting. The team will light both at the same time. We'll draw progressively. First of all, we'll comment at the aroma, at the visuals, at the draw. And if we can all clip our cigars first, which is probably not a bad way of starting, so we can test the draw. And I'll get Cliff to start with draw, aroma, cold, any other commentary on the visuals, etc.
The Spada Gorda is a beautiful cigar. It smells a bit young. Of course, it's from this year, right?
Yeah, it's a new batch of Spada Gordas.
Yeah. And it's not a fair comparison because it's against the 2022 Mag 46. Interestingly, the draw on the Spada Gorda is better than my Mag 46 in this case, despite them both being kept at 61%.
Yeah. I'm not getting a lot of flavor at the cold draw. Then again, we had our grand final yesterday and Rob really entertained himself.
It's got a caramel scent to it though. Both.
Yeah. Colin?
Nice draw. Much firmer construction than my Mag 46. Little bit of peanut and I would say anise on the draw.
Okay. Excellent. Joe?
The Spada Gorda is relatively young. This cigar feels very hard, but draws very well. I don't have anything particularly interesting to say about what it smells like, but the Mag 46, this is a 20, and this is a tightly rolled cigar, and it's a little tight.
Mine is too.
Yours too, George?
So I'm doing pretty good with both cigars. I have 2018 Magnum 46. I would say right now, really what I'm getting on the cold draw is cedar-ish and salt. On the Spada Gorda, same thing everybody else has said so far. I mean, if you were to pick the cigar up, it feels very dense for the size. Being a Cuban cigar smoker, I would be a little nervous that, oh my gosh, this might be overfilled or overpacked, but it's not. It draws perfectly. It feels really brilliantly constructed, and it feels like there's value here. Feels like there's a substantial amount of tobacco, but it's constructed well. So the Mag 46 I pulled, I looked at the foot, trying to hedge, not having bad draw on this, and I'm doing well on both. So just a slight resistance on both.
Sweet. Mike?
Yeah, I'd echo a lot of the sentiments. I have a 2346. The Spada Gorda's dense, solid, really smooth, and dare I say open draw. The 46 feels denser even. I hope there's no knots in it. It's got a tighter draw. I'm a little nervous about it, to be honest.
All right.
I am getting some salt on it, and with the Spada Gorda, just some really light, like barnyard. But
Mhm.
looking-
Right. Perfect. Well, let's light them both up, and we'll come back to you all, those who are watching, in a few moments. Just let us get through the first 5-10 millimeters of this cigar. Gentlemen, we're just going to do the opening thoughts on both cigars, because I think we're all about like 5-10 million. Yeah, we're getting close to it. So, Cliff, start again, please.
Well, I'm stealing George's insight because the retro on the Mag 46 really drew me in immediately. And then he said, you know, they're very similar, and the flavors in the mouth are very different, but the retros are very similar, especially for such a young cigar. I find that amazing. I don't usually like a retro on a young cigar.
Yeah. Colin?
I can't speak to retro. I just have this funny sort of bitter taste on my tongue from the Corona Gorda. Whereas the Mag 46, which is a 2017, is super smooth.
Super smooth.
Yeah.
Some age there, though.
I mean, as I say, Mag 46 is one of my favorite cigars, as you all know. I mean, it's the reason I kicked off with this one here. It's I've got an ocean of Mag 46s in my desktop humidor in here. I know that cigar backwards. I know how they age. I know how they are young. And it was always going to be, when we did the MOFOH Spada Gorda, it was always going to be an absolute challenge to get it there. And I think the Spada Gorda, where it comes home, is in that second third. I think that's where it comes home. And we're going to see that tonight, or hopefully we can see that tonight. Joe, your thoughts?
Well, these are both good cigars, first of all. The Spada Gorda is very impressive for a young non-Cuban cigar. I smoke a lot of Cuban cigars. And I'm not that graced in telling you what the different flavors are. I can tell you what I like. I think there's a little more Cuban tang inside of this 2020 Mag 46. And I think that's going to give it, that'll probably go away, but it'll give it a little more complexity right now.
Yeah, agreed. George, you're on mute.
Amateur hour over here. So I think a couple things. I think like Cliff said about the retro hail, I think they're terribly similar. I think if someone is into the retro hail, I think both of these cigars are speaking the same language. I think on the palate initially, the Spada Gorda opened a little mild for me in flavor. I think the Upmann kind of opened where I expected it to, but now coming into, I guess, that coming 3/4 of an inch here on the Spada Gorda, I'm getting some salt. I'm getting some more flavor in it. Definitely has a bit more oomph than the Magnum 46. Obviously, 7 years of age on this. It's definitely toned down. It's smoothed out, and you know, Honduran tobacco being as close as you can get to Cuban, but you know, a little bit of blending. You know, whatever's blended in here from Nicaragua has a little more oomph, but they're definitely in the same family. I would say distant cousins right now, as far as what I'm tasting.
Are you getting just because you're probably a little bit more advanced than some of the other gentlemen. Just a touch of sweetness in that salt is coming through.
Absolutely.
Is what you want. That's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. What I love about this, the saltiness on this, is it is very balanced, Rob. Like it is really hitting the whole palate. I think that the smoke is rich. And for cigar smokers out there who like to be chimneys, as I often talk about when I smoke, you know, this cigar is, you kiss it and it's a plume of smoke. And I think for a cigar of this size, smokers might not expect that. You know, you might expect something that isn't putting off a ton of smoke. And I really love the combustion here. And of course, the burn line is just spectacular.
Well, yeah, that's a young cigar. Yeah, that cigar would be 8 weeks old.
Yeah, 8 weeks, 8 years.
Pretty much 8 weeks, 8 years.
I have a lot.
That comes down to our bunches and our rollers, and Hamlet's supervision of those guys, and so they don't get it right all the time because simply they're human beings. But if they can get it right 97% of the time, we are super. So we want to have a tight pack. We want to have a tight bunch. But we want to have a tight bunch that delivers a good draw every time. We don't always get it. I think, Mike, you were saying, I'm going to switch to you now, Mike, anyway, but Mike, you were saying you had a plugged Sovereign Sun. I think we were talking about the football the other day. You had a plugged Sovereign Sun. And I told Hamlet that it was like I stole his heart. He says, I'll call the factory. I said, you're not going to call the factory over a tight Sovereign Sun.
No.
You just, when you're down there next, look at it again. But yeah, it does happen. These things do happen. Mike, your initial opening thoughts on
Yeah,
the Corona Gorda?
it does happen. And this thing is smoking beautifully. It was very mild and almost, I don't want to say flavorless, but very light for like that very first couple of puffs, quarter inch, very little. And then all of a sudden it turned on and getting like the salty sweetness you were talking about. I was going to say like a baking spice almost coming in on the Spada Gorda. It's great. And it's funny how different the mouth taste versus are between the 46 and the Spada versus the consistency between the two on the retro. I'll echo that sentiment to everybody. And I'm not the 46. What I was concerned about is come up to be unfounded. It's smoking well. It's a nice tight draw. The ash is a little bit darker than on the Spada, but they're both very enjoyable. And you wouldn't know that this is 8 weeks old. This Spada, it's delivering.
No, so I think I've told the forum before, but Hamlet's blending philosophy on all cigars, and he describes it as meeting a woman at a bar for the first time. And the opening in all of his cigars is very polite, very, very gentle. It's, how are you? You look beautiful. That's how he opens. And as we get to the first third, I'll go through what his next line of questioning is, and where that cigar should go.
You may want to turn off the recorder for that. No, this is, it's the signature opening.
Yeah, soft, etc. And it's not bad because it's actually, I mean, one of the great challenges in blending non-Cuban tobacco is journey, is complexity, is achieving change progressively. And you have to do that a little bit differently than you do with Cuban tobacco, which naturally comes automatically. It is the best tobacco in the world, but it comes automatically with softness, with nuance in that tobacco. And you really need to roll it properly and let it shine. We'll come back to you at the end of the first third. First third of the side-by-side, and we'll kick off with Cliff.
I think I still lean Mag 46, though the fact that it's so close is tricky. And the retro still has me enamored on this Spada Gorda. I can't believe I'm smoking an 8-week-old cigar.
8-week old, and again, the boys asked me how old's the tobacco, and the tobacco is 4 years in the Spada Gorda. So even though we've only rolled it 8 weeks ago, it really hasn't had any time to acclimatize or to rest in your humidor. But it is all 4-year-old tobacco. Colin, your thoughts on the opening third?
I would echo what Cliff said, that I'm surprised for such a young cigar that it tastes as smoothly as it does. The burn is a little uneven, and it's definitely tighter than the Mag 46. I would say a little bit of baking spice is coming to the surface, but the Mag 46 is still smoother.
Joe?
Mag 46 is a little bit less smooth than the Spada Gorda. But that's because it's very, very tight and maybe a little over. I don't know about the humidity. I'm going to say they're dead even right now, and I'd be hard pressed blind to tell which is which. I mean, which is a better cigar. If I was just smoking this by itself and it wasn't a different size, I wouldn't be able to tell you right here at the first third.
George?
So for me, I'm in an interesting place as far as my thoughts on it. I was definitely coming in expecting the 7-year age Mag 46 to blow away the young Spada Gorda. So the fact that that's not happening on a cigar that on Bond Roberts transacts at about $40 a stick versus this, as we talked about, is so cheap is mind blowing. I think the thing that's interesting on these is I came in expecting that baking spice, that classic kind of Upmann sour, like shortbread kind of cookie type thing. And I'm getting much more leather. I'm getting licorice. I'm getting cedar. And I think that actually it's a lot closer in flavor profile to the Spada Gorda than I was anticipating. So right now, as you can see, I'm reaching for both pretty equally.
Oh my
And,
God.
I'm
He's so far ahead of me.
yeah, I'm rolling, man. I'm loving it. So A+ so far.
All right, Mike?
I'm loving both of them. The Spada Gorda is shocking to me. The age of it being so young. I am starting to get a little bit of an uneven burn, which it was smooth all the way through, but the flavor is just consistent. It's got that baking spice. It's going on this little journey that I know Hamlet likes taking you on, and it's really enjoyable. I'd actually give it a slight edge over the Mag 46 in the first third. 46 is fantastic. It's a 23, so it's a little bit younger than some of the ones that you guys are smoking. But I am tending to reach for it a little bit more. It doesn't feel like I am, but it certainly looks like I am.
I've enjoyed both. I like the Magnum 46 better than the Spada Gorda at this point in time. I think it had more complexity in that opening, certainly through that opening third. I'm getting a lot more sweetness coming through the Spada Gorda at this point. It's sweetness, salt, cookie dough. That sweetness and salt reminds me very much of Sancho Panza. If there was a Sancho Panza Corona Gorda, it would actually make a little bit more sense.
It would sell.
Yeah. It's got some real lovely that saltiness, that sweetness that's coming through, the little bit of milkiness that's coming through, the sweet milk. I quite like it. If I was a coach, if I was a coach, and let's assume I'm coaching the Spada Gorda, the MOFOH, I'd say in that first third, stay in the game, right? You just want to stay in touch in that first third, and let's see how you bring it home. But right now, yeah, I'm impressed the way it's kept in the game, and it hasn't been blown away, because that was always the Magnum 46 is a legendary cigar, and it has every right to be a legendary cigar. That's it for the first third. We'll be back with you at the end of the second third. Discussing now the second third of this side-by-side tasting. Again, Cliff, lead off. You're probably a little bit behind the rest in terms of smoking speed, which is to be expected when you've got 6 people. But your thoughts?
I still am stunned by the retro, and for some reason that is always something that I measure cigars by. The Mag 46 is still a slight ahead, but the retro is neck and neck. There's more minerality and twang in my Mag 46. There's more sweetness and caramel and salt in the Spada Gorda to me.
I think you've nailed it on that. I love a retro as well. I retro all the time, and I can't split them on the retro. Very different cigars. I think the retro really differentiates them in terms of the flavor profile, what you're getting on your palate as well, and it crystallizes to me. But different cigars in terms of what they're delivering. I love that, again, from the Spada Gorda, that sweetness, that salt, that you mentioned caramel, that milkiness, there's a little bit of bakery in there, which I enjoy in a
The
cigar.
intensity is ratcheted up in a slight way that I enjoy, that I would expect in the second, third too.
The Magnum 46, I'm loving this cigar. I've got a great Magnum 46 here. This 2246 has really performed exceptionally well. I couldn't fault it. It's exactly what I wanted in a 46. But the only thing I really enjoy about the 46 more is that mid palate intensity, and I think it's got it there. But it's not ahead by much at all at this point. Colin?
So I would say that the Spada Gorda has come into a little bit more sweetness now. But it's not beating the Mag 46 in terms of flavor.
Great. Joe?
Spada Gorda has a tremendous retrohale on it. I don't think it's terribly complex, and I think that's where the mag has it beat. But the Spada Gorda has a couple of little wonky burns, but it's kind of a toss-up right here for me between the two of them. But the Magnum 46 it doesn't have it on the retrohale, but feels a little more complex to me.
George?
I'm honestly envious of you guys talking about the Magnum 46s like you are right now. I love Magnum 46. I've smoked through so many boxes of them. This 2018 that I have is boring. It's lackluster, burning well, combusting well. So great construction, but the flavor is just not what I'm expecting from a Magnum 46 at this point. I'm hoping in the last third that it turns around. I have my fingers crossed. And it's the exact opposite for the Spada Gorda. It's been a journey of flavor so far through the first 2/3. I think you guys have nailed the flavor notes, so I'm not going to rehash those. But slight pickup in intensity, I'm enjoying that. But A to B, B to A, the Magnum 46 is just dead in the water, unfortunately, and I can't believe I'm saying that. It's crazy, but that's where we're at.
Mike?
Yeah, I'd echo a lot of the sentiments. I wouldn't say that my 46 is dead in the water, but it is slightly behind the Spada. I'm enjoying it more. One thing I will say that I'm really enjoying on the Spada is the combustion of it and how the whole chimney comparison that you make. You know, it's really smoking. There's a lot of mouthfeel. The retro is fantastic. And I haven't had to touch it up at all. There was a slight uneven burn. I ashed it. It figured itself out. I had to relight the 46.
Excellent. Well, we'll be back with you at the end of the last third. Well, gentlemen, it's time to wrap up this side-by-side tasting. And I think we'll do it in such a way that we'll compare the cigars as to how much enjoyment you've received, how much utility you've received from both cigars. Are they, in terms of Corona Gordas, are they comparable in terms of satisfaction? We're not going to really address the price differential, which is, everyone knows who's watching this, the Magnum 46 is a $24 cigar. The Spada Gorda is a $9 cigar. You can pick it up on special for 8s or late 7s. So, but I think that we should really focus upon what both cigars have delivered, what you've enjoyed. We'll just smoke them again. Cliff,
Yes.
please give us your summary.
Yes, I would smoke them again. And yes, I'm stunned by the Spada Gorda. It's my first ever Spada Gorda, and I'm enjoying it. It's the retros continue to impress, and the comparison with the Mag 46 still brings that Cuban twang that I love, but the Spada, I mean, shoot, look at these cigars. They're neck and neck, and I'm enjoying it.
stuff. Colin,
So I will qualify it by saying that the Mag 46 is probably one of my favorite cigars. So it's pretty hard to beat. But I would say in sort of simple terms, I would buy the Spada Gorda again because I enjoyed it.
I would give them to other people. That's how I judge the quality of a cigar. I would hand these out. I would say, here, smoke this. This is going to be good. You're going to love it. Sorry.
I do it every Friday on the deck, Cliff. I hand out they buy the nudies now, but I hand them out because you can. They're affordable to hand out, and you know
said we
people.
weren't bringing value into the conversation, Rob.
Yeah.
But we had this discussion before.
I've already had my turn, so I'm sorry. I'm
handing it. If you're handing out 10 Magnum 46s to people, you're out $250, right?
which is okay.
Yeah, but you know, I would.
Which is okay. Which is okay if you can, but not everyone can do that. Not everyone can do that in the modern world. Joe, your summary.
Just one thing before Joe starts.
Sorry,
I
Colin.
would say that the Spada Gorda is something that I would hand out because it's easy to smoke.
Yeah.
And even somebody who's not an experienced smoker would enjoy it.
I think that's what a cigar should be.
Go ahead,
Joe?
Joe.
And now Joe has to follow that up.
If somebody said to me, I got to buy a box of cigars, what should I do? And they didn't know much about cigars, I would say buy a box of these Spada Gordas without hesitation. This is a very good cigar. It's not quite as complex as the Mag 46. It's but the retrohale is tremendous. The flavor is tremendous. I can't find any fault with it. Is it as good as a great Mag 46? Probably not. Is it as good as the ones that most of us are smoking here today? People are saying yes. So, that says it all. I'd be happy. And if I smoked this cigar all by itself, I would be happy that I smoked it and feel like I had smoked a good cigar.
Yeah.
Utility is right there.
George?
I mean, for me, I said what I said about the Mag 46. It finished the way it kind of landed in the second third for me. It was boring, and it really was something that if we weren't doing this, I would have put it down. The Spada Gorda, I would describe it one word, piling on what everybody else is saying. I've been using this word a lot. Effortless. It's just an effortless smoke. It's just easy to smoke. It tastes delicious. I love it. I've had many of them, and this one delivered. I think for folks who love to age cigars and love to see how they progress over time, I think the cigar in the last third is showing that preview of what it can really be and the opportunity for improvement here beyond the excellence we had today. I think it really has a wonderful potential. It has great legs. So, I mean, I just think that at the price for what the cigar is and what it delivers, I think, it's a slam dunk.
Mike?
Yeah, I agree. I think that the 46 for me was good, as it always is. It's one of my favorites, but it was kind of monotonous. And I think that the Spada actually took me on a little bit of a journey where it started off a little light, medium-ish, and then in the last third, it really kicked it up a notch and started delivering some different flavors. It was a little bit more full. The combustion was incredible. It delivered a ton of smoke. The retrohale was fantastic. I think that it's a more diverse cigar in the sense that you can smoke it at any time, where this 46 that I had tonight, I would prefer to have it later on in the day after a meal, a little bit more full, and the Spada has a little bit more diversity in its delivery. I really enjoyed it, and I'm happy about it.
I think so when we came up with the Spada Gorda blend, and mentioned to you all at the beginning of this discussion or tasting, is if these two cigars were a football team, and I'm in coach of the Spada Gorda, because I smoke Magnum 46s all the time. It's one of my favorite cigars in the world. I know this cigar backwards. I've known it for 30 odd years. It's just a brilliant cigar. And this one today that I've smoked has been brilliant. It's been great. So as a coach of a football team, I just asked my Spada Gorda to stay in the game, just to stay in the game that first half, right? You're up against a legend, an absolute legend. Stay in the game and just play your own game. Don't try to go too much head to head. And just highlight your own strengths. And I think the Spada Gorda really does highlight its strengths. It's not a Magnum 46. It doesn't pretend to be a Magnum 46. It just delivers a beautiful bakery saltiness, slight saltiness, beautiful sweetness on the way through, and it transitions. And it's that transition, it's that a little bit of complexity. And I think that complexity is going to grow over time. I mean, that cigar that you've smoked now is what, 4 to 6 weeks of age on those cigars there. And what we've noticed about Nudi's, Desnudo, MOFOH, and even Bon Robert cigars is that first 18 months, the trajectory is like this. They really do improve. So I've got really high hopes for the Spada Gorda. I'm really proud of what Hamlet has done in terms of the blending, in terms of trying to introduce that journey in that cigar to make it a cigar that is not one-dimensional. And I think that will really crystallize over the next 18 months. It will become increasingly complex. I love these side-by-side tastings. I love doing it. I do them all the time because I think that, I know some folks find it difficult to do. But to crystallize on a true challenge, it has to be side-by-side to see what the transitions are, the pros and the cons. And I think it brings a lot of, some cigars say, no, it's just this cigar is a runaway success compared to the other cigar here. This wasn't the case today. It was 2 really, really good cigars. I think the Mag 46, George, you didn't have a really good experience. Mike's given it to as a clear win to the Spada Gorda. I think it's pretty much evenly split on the board today in terms of where they fit, which I think is a great result for cigar lovers everywhere. That you bring it into your rotation, and that's what it is. But the Magnum 46 is something truly special. To be able to compete with something that's truly special is a great achievement. And that achievement goes to Nahun, Sergio, Hamlet, the rest of our rolling and blending teams. They're doing good work. They're doing really good work. And so we'll do this again. We'll do it again with another size, whether it be a pyramid or a Churchill or something. We'll discuss that. And I'll let the forum know maybe the forum can make some recommendations of what they'd like to see. I think Robusto would be a good one next time because we all have a Robusto, Cuban Robusto in our maybe a D4 up against.
The pyramid that you make is pretty darn good though. I have given that out many times, and that has.
Yeah, we might do either a Monty 2 versus our pyramid and see how that goes. Let's go against the legends. You might as well go against the legends. No, yeah, Monty 2.
And in reality, I don't think it's not about what I love about what you're doing, and these are just people enjoying cigars. The Nudie is Cubanesque. It's its own thing. It's not trying to be something else. And so even though we're comparing these 2 cigars, we're just comparing things we enjoy. It's not saying, are they the same?
I agree. We're comparing smoking experiences as opposed to giving detailed scores on individual cigars. And it's a smoking experience. Is it delivering utility? And that's what it really is about. Is it delivering satisfaction?
More than utility.
Yeah, and I think that's the point. It's not meant to replace, but if you're a Corona Gorda smoker, this is definitely in the rotation, right?
It is one of the best Corona Gordas in the world today, and there's not a lot of Corona Gordas in the world today.
Great.
So that's
Exactly.
fine.
No, exactly. You nailed it.
We were talking about it before. Our Nympha is probably the best Nympha in the world today, which is easy to do because it's.
It's the only one.
How brave of you, Rob.
Yeah.
What a statement.
Yeah, that's right.
But what a great size, for goodness sake.
Gentlemen, thank you so much
for buying Nympha because they are awesome.
Thank you so much for your time. Mike, happy birthday from the
Yes.
forum, from all of us here today. 57, who would have thought?
I thought it was 67.
No, that's me.
Gentlemen, thank you again. Until next
Thank you,
time.
Rob.
Cheers.